Here are 3 tips that you ladies need to know to help you build lean muscle without getting bulky. My name is Beth and I am an online fitness coach for women. I help you reduce body fat, build muscle, and feel confident in your body and outside your body. It's not just about in the gym, it's about living a life that you feel your best. Something I have been working towards my whole life, and I get to work with women and help them feel the same without making things so overcomplicated. Now, before I get into those points, I want to discuss why building muscle matters for women. Now, to look good, there is no reason why you can't lift weights to try and look good. If that boosts your confidence, if that makes you feel better, lift weights to help you feel and look better. That is a huge reason why I started lifting weights. It's a huge reason why I still lift weights, because I want to be able to make sure as I get older, when our muscle mass starts to decrease, I want to still be looking as fabulous as I did 10 years ago. But I'm obviously going to be 10 years older, and getting older is not a nice thing that we want to be thinking about. Why can't we lift weights to shape our body so that we can continue to feel confident as we get older? So not just looks, strength. It's so important to feel our strongest, especially as we get older, because our strength will decrease as our muscle mass decreases. At any age you're at, you want to be able to feel strong. It's such a powerful thing to feel, and especially for women, I think strength training has come in massively over the last couple of years, and I think it's a real confidence boost to know that we are able to push our bodies to a point that we probably didn't even think that we were capable of doing. I know that I've experienced that myself, and I know that the women I train are exactly the same. Metabolism. So the more muscle mass you have, guess what? The more calories you burn, because muscle uses more calories compared to fat. I hate saying the word game changer, but it is a real game changer when you realize how much more calories your body needs when you do have muscle mass. So not only are you going to look more toned, look leaner, feel stronger, you can also eat more calories without gaining body fat as quick as you would be if you didn't have that muscle mass in the first place. And I think that is probably the biggest bonus when it comes to lifting weights, is knowing that you can eat more calories. Obviously, all in moderation. You can't go out and just eat all the crap on the high street. That would be great, wouldn't it? So altogether, building muscle has way more benefits than what you are probably thinking at the moment, which is trying to lose weight on the scale to be able to look smaller. Think about starting to lift weights and using weights as a way to feeling your best as you age, seeing the benefits of how powerful building muscle is, not just how you look, but also what you can achieve in terms of the weights that you can lift. And that's something I think is really important that women should have in their everyday life. Going on to the first point, which is training intensity. Now, the intensity that you work at is so important when it comes to building muscle, because I cannot express enough how long it takes to build muscle. It's so long, and a lot of women expect their body shape to change after a couple of sessions in the gym, or a couple of weeks, or a couple of months. It is way longer than that. But when we use the word tone and also the word definition, shape, lean, or muscular, which is definitely a word women don't like to use, but all those words actually mean the same thing. It comes from doing the same thing, which is building muscle. When it comes to the word toned and muscular, I think women tend to think that we train differently for these two different things, and we don't. My advice for any women out there who are trying to build muscle: go hard now. Like, go hard, have a plan, follow it, and learn to increase your weight and also increase your reps where you need to. The reason why I say go hard now is you can pull back at any point if you are happy with your look and you don't want to get any more definition. Now, there are certain areas on my body that I don't train much anymore because I'm pretty happy with the shape that I've built. So I've spent years building the muscle that I want in that area to be able to see the transformation that I would like. That's allowed me to feel more confident with my body. And now I've just pulled back a little bit, so I'm not training that area as much. And what a lot of women are afraid to do is actually go hard, and because they're afraid of getting big and bulky, and that's not going to happen. If you trust the process and actually push hard for, I'm talking about a couple of years. Like, that is how long, I guarantee that's how long it will take for you to be able to achieve the look that you want. Give it at least 12 months. Start there, 12 months of training hard and see what your body does. Take some pictures now, take some pictures in 12 months time, and track your progress. When you come to that 12 months time, I guarantee you'll still want to continue training because you still haven't quite got to where you want to be. But then in 2 or 3 years time, what you can do is you can pull back a little bit. You can reduce the volume that you're doing with your training and just use it as maintenance, as a way to keep yourself moving every week, to keep yourself active, to keep yourself feeling strong. And that is what I do with some parts of my training. I've got areas that I want to develop because I really enjoy the progress that I've been making so far. But I know that, you know, in 5 years time, I could pull back a little bit. And I could take a little bit of time out, and I feel absolutely okay doing that. I actually feel fine doing that now. I have weeks where I don't train as hard, or I have weeks where I don't train as much. And I think a lot of women think that you need to be training, you know, 5-6 sessions a week. You really don't need to be doing that. So my advice to you is to go hard, trust the process, and give it at least a year for you to be able to see some real transformation with your body shape. So, going back to my point of training intensity, how hard you are working during each set is really important for you to be able to get the most out of that session. And if you are holding back and you're not pushing as hard as you could be, the process is going to be so much slower. And that's why I say you need to give yourself 12 months of training hard to be able to see some real good results. So when you're in the gym and you're training on your sets, you want to be making sure towards the end of your set, you are working at an intensity so that you know you have around 1 or 2 reps left in reserve. And to actually get a feel of how that feels, it does take a bit of time, it takes a bit of practice as well. And what I do with my training is I put in AMRAPs, so as many reps as possible on the end of some sets that I've worked at. So let's say I did leg press, 3 sets of 10. What I then do is I reduce the weight slightly on my 4th set, and I go as hard as I can for as many reps as I can with that lower weight. And that allows me to get a feeling of what failure is like. I'm basically pushing until I have no more in the tank. When you perform exercises like that, it gives you a real good feeling of how much more you could actually be working in your sets, and knowing that you could actually push for higher weight, or you could be pushing for more reps. That is the intensity that you need to be working at to be able to build muscle, and that's super important because you want to be seeing those results. And whilst I'm on this topic, I'll talk about rep ranges as well. So what reps should you be working at? When it comes to reps, you do not need to be doing 20 reps, 30 reps, 40 reps on every single exercise in every session you do. Because I guarantee when you are performing those high reps, the chances are you're sticking to the same weight in every single session, doing the same reps and not even tracking your progress. For you to be able to build muscle, and women will stick to those rep ranges because you think it's toning. You need to actually be bringing those reps down a little bit for you to be increasing the load. And going back to my point at the start, when you actually increase load, that's a huge confidence boost because you're focusing on strength, you're focusing on what your body can do that you thought you could never be able to do. So bringing those reps down and working between 6 to 12 reps is a really good range to focus on, because you can increase the load, you can increase the reps with that load over time, and until you then hit, let's say reps around 12, maybe 15, you've been on the same weight for those reps for a couple of weeks, bring it back down to, let's say 6 to 8 reps, work with that new weight, which is going to boost your confidence because you never thought you'd be able to get to that next weight above the weight that you've been lifting. And then you're going to start again. You're then going to work on increasing those reps over time with that new weight. That is a really, really good way to be able to build muscle, boost confidence, and increase your strength as well, compared to doing these high reps with short rest. And then going to recovery, you need that recovery to be able to go into your next set feeling as fresh as you can, because the idea is you need to be pretty fatigued towards the end of the set. So like I said, leaving at least 1 or 2 reps in reserve, but that should be to a point where those last 3 or 4 reps that you're performing should feel pretty challenging, because you'll be surprised at how much more you have left in the tank. But again, it just takes a bit of time and practice to be able to get used to that feeling. So rep ranges, 6 to 12, you don't need to be doing all these high reps, but I do incorporate high reps towards the end of a session. So for example, if I was doing some resistant band work, if I was doing some tricep work, some bicep work, you can definitely push for more reps then. And I would prioritize the lower reps towards the start of your session where you have more energy in you to be able to push for some heavier weights. So that structure of a session with starting with lower weights and increasing reps towards the end of a session is a really good way to be able to plan out what your workouts are going to look like. So it's not a case of avoiding those high reps. You just don't want most of your exercises every single week to be focusing on those really high reps, because you cannot increase the load, and you need to be increasing load to be able to build muscle and confidence. Don't forget that. Point number 2. Eating enough to be able to fuel your body so you can go into that gym and lift weights. Now, this is something I've done for years, not eating enough. Still sits there in the back of my mind. I think this can be a very hard process to be able to try and change, but it comes with practice and it comes with feeling a little bit uncomfortable sometimes. You don't need to be eating so that you gain weight. That's not how building muscle has to be. You do not have to, because I know that women are afraid of getting bulky. And yes, if you were to eat more and lift weights, you will find that you're going to be gaining more body fat. And I know that I don't want to be having any extra body fat on me. So I like to eat maintenance calories pretty much throughout the week. But most women are afraid to even get close to those maintenance calories, and they aren't even eating anywhere near those maintenance calories. You're always focusing on trying to eat less because you are worried, one, about what the scale is going to say. If it's going to go up, then you need to drop those calories. Two, you're afraid of this bloatedness around your tummy when you do eat more food, and that fullness feeling is also another scary thing that you don't want to be feeling, because again, it just makes you feel frumpy. And now I feel like I'm going on a completely different topic here, but I will definitely do another video on mindset and food and challenges with body image. I can definitely do a topic on that. But to be able to build muscle, you need to be eating enough food, because otherwise, if you are in that calorie deficit all the time, you won't be building muscle. The process will be so much longer. Because when you are focusing on being in a real calorie deficit to lose body fat, the chances of building muscle are very, very small. I wouldn't say you don't build muscle, but it depends where you're at. And if you're at a point where you need to lose body fat first, you will focus on that whilst lifting weights. Then you would then want to bring your calories up to maintenance calories based on where you're at with your body weight. Then push for the weights in the gym to build muscle. Then you'll start to see more shape coming to your body. But that does mean you need to be eating some carbohydrates. This is what's going to support us feeling our best when we're lifting weights in the gym and when we're just running around doing our everyday chores and admin stuff. It comes from carbohydrates, and it comes from just having enough calories in our body as well. But also another thing that is super important is protein, and women aren't having enough protein in their diet. You need to be aiming for around 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. You can also push for more. I have pushed for more. It's become a bit more automatic for me to be able to include more protein in my diet. But without a good amount of protein in your diet, it's going to be very hard for your body to recover well, because protein helps with building muscle. It helps with maintaining muscle mass. And if you want shape to your body, then you definitely need to be eating enough protein in your diet. If you were focusing on fat loss, having more protein in your diet will keep you feeling fuller for longer, and also, like I said, helping you maintain muscle mass, because when you do focus on reducing body fat, the chances of you losing some muscle is pretty high. But you want to be able to stop that process happening as much as possible, and having more protein in your diet will be really helpful. So look at a minimum of 2 grams per kilogram of body weight every single day. I would start off with putting those in your meals to start with, and whatever you're having at the moment, weigh it out, track it, use a tracking app to see how much protein you're having, have it with your meals, and then just increase the amount that you're having in those meals to start with. Don't worry too much about trying to find different snacks and different recipes to try and bring in protein, because there's not a lot of protein options out there. So you'll be getting them from lean meat sources, fish, eggs, Greek yogurt. Just have more of those foods to start with and get used to having that bit more protein in your diet. And point number 3, cardio or strength training for shaping up your body. Now, a hot topic I think is really good to discuss is, does it stop you from building muscle? Now, personally, and what you may have seen if you do follow me on social media, is that I do cardio every week. I always include it in my routine. I have always included it as something that I enjoy. It's been part of my life since growing up as a kid, and so I find it very difficult to not do it. Now, my steps aren't as high these days because I have a desk job. Now, if it means going out for a 20-minute run to increase my steps, get myself outdoors, away from the desk, and just do something I know it does feel pretty good for me to do, and at the end of the day, I just know I will be happy that I've done it, I add in a 20-minute run for me to get that feel-good feeling. If you are on the cardio machines and you are prioritizing those over strength training, that is not the way that you are going to be building shape to your body. And that is something I used to do a long time ago. We're talking about 6-7 years ago when I first started off lifting weights. I was actually prioritizing cardio and using that as a way to help me think that I need to be doing it to build the shape that I want to my body. Cardio doesn't do that. So using cardio as a way to help you feel good and improve your cardiovascular fitness, and also a way to help you keep your body weight down, because in a way you are burning more calories. But if you want to be building muscle, you do need to be eating enough calories, especially if you are doing some cardio alongside it, but you do need to be prioritizing your strength training. And that's it. That is the 3 points that I wanted to go through when it comes to building lean muscle mass for women. Do not get afraid of being bulky. I used to think that myself. It will never ever happen. Stop under eating and start eating to fuel your body better. Make sure you prioritize recovery, because that's so important. You do not need to be training every single day of the week. You don't want exercise to take over your life. You don't want it to feel like a chore. You don't want it to feel like a headache every single day. You want to be going in and feeling really good when you are doing your sessions. So that's it. I hope that was helpful. Those are the 3 main tips when it comes to building lean muscle mass. Leave a comment below if you have any questions. And if you'd like any tips, any advice on anything with your current training or nutrition at the moment, or anything to do with your journey to improve your body shape and your confidence. And I will see you in the next video where I want to discuss more about exercise and nutrition tips and just helping women feel their best.